Hello, my second graders. I hope you guys are doing well as always. We are going to continue our genre study right now. I just want to remind you all that a genre is a type of music, right? And today we are going to be talking about pop music. Now, pop music is a little bit tricky, but I think you'll like it just the same because it's a genre of popular music that originated in its modern forms. That means in today's day, in the United States and the UK, which is Britain or England, during the mid 1950s. The term, and here's where it gets interesting, the term popular music and pop music are often used interchangeably. That means you could say pop music or popular music, although the former describes all music that is popular and includes many diverse styles. So basically, pop is pretty much just what is popular for that time, okay? Yeah, it has a very there are lots of like really good beats to it, absolutely. But like you might say, well, what makes pop then different than like rock and roll, right? But really pop music is what is popular for our time. So let's take a look at some instruments. Just like last week, a lot of similar instruments that you might see, especially the electric guitar, right? The one that plugs in. You have a tambourine over here, some cymbals, you have a keyboard, you have some speakers, some stereo systems, synthesizers, and again, just like last week when we talked about rock and roll, we talked about a lot of guitars. So I actually have this one written down today, and it says, guitars are common in pop music. Types of guitars used in pop music include bass guitars, acoustic guitars. Remember, acoustic guitars do not need to be plugged in, and of course, electric guitars, which do need to be plugged in like the bass. Bass guitars generally have 4 strings. Electric and acoustic guitars usually have 6 or 12 strings. Electric guitars, including electric bass guitars, must be used with a guitar tape cable, and basically it needs to be plugged in, just exactly what I've been saying. So let's take a look at a couple of people that are famous in pop. Today, we are going to be talking mainly about Michael Jackson, which I know a lot of you guys know and are familiar with his name, Michael Jackson. He was nicknamed the King of Pop, which makes him very appropriately for us to talk about him. Now, I have a couple of other pictures on the other side, and you might recognize some of them. And these people are popular today. So they're basically like they're all alive where Michael Jackson is not alive anymore. But people like Taylor Swift, I'll put little stars as I talk about them. So we have like Taylor Swift, we have Ariana Grande, Ed Sheeran, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, and Drake. Yeah, so these people are really popular today. So yes, their style of music might not seem the same as Michael Jackson's, but it doesn't matter because Michael Jackson was popular for his time, which was pretty much the 1980s, and these people are famous in our time, which was like the 2000s and 2020s. So on the bottom of this video, I attached a very short Michael Jackson biography. A biography is usually something about the person that is true. So a couple of fun facts about Michael Jackson that I'd like you guys to watch. But I'm actually going to read this thing that I wrote out for you guys today because it really covers a lot of the most interesting facts about Michael Jackson, his career, his life, his family, and so on. So it says, let's talk about Michael Jackson. He was one of 8 brothers and sisters born in Gary, Indiana. That's a big family. His dad was named Joe, and he was manager for most of the family's endeavors. So as a manager, he would basically manage what shows and what songs his family would be singing. And Michael Jackson does have quite a few famous family members. When he was 5 years old, he was part of the Jackson 5 with his brothers. Their style or genre of music was called Motown, so it really wasn't pop yet. And one of the most famous songs that they did was called ABC. Known for his incredible dancing moves, Michael Jackson eventually decided he wanted to go solo. He was such a good dancer. He created a few of his own moves, including the moonwalk. If you've never seen the moonwalk before, it's very cool. It's almost like he's walking on the moon and he's kind of going backwards on it. Some of his most famous songs include Bad, Man in the Mirror, Billie Jean, and Beat It. However, his most famous album and song, even today, is still Thriller. It is still one of the most popular albums today, and I'm not sure if it's still true, but as of a few years ago, it was still like the #1 selling album in the entire world. And his nickname, because of that, became the King of Pop. One of Michael Jackson's signature styles was a glove he wore on one hand. A lot of people thought he wore it to cover up a skin disease he had. See, Michael Jackson had a very interesting skin disease that would slowly turn the color of his skin from black to white. You see, our skin has pigments, and it's what gives us all different colors. But the cells in his body were pretty much slowly dying, and so he was actually slowly it was almost like his skin's color was slowly fading, which is why in earlier photos he's a lot darker colored than he is in his later life. He was pretty eccentric, odd, as he got older, and he was even involved in a tragic accident while filming a commercial. It caused him to have serious burns on his head, which actually sent him into a pretty depressed state for a very long time. Eventually, which I always thought was kind of cool, he married Jamie Presley, who is Elvis Presley's daughter. So if you think about it, we learned last week or 2 weeks ago about the rock and roll, right? And we learned about Elvis. Well, Elvis was actually nicknamed, and I didn't tell you guys this last time, he was actually nicknamed the King of Rock. So think how cool that is that the King of Pop, Michael Jackson, married the King of Rock's daughter, right? That's kind of like a cool coincidence. Eventually, though, they ended up getting divorced, and he did marry another woman named Debbie Rowe. He has 3 children who, yes, are still alive today. 2 boys, Prince and Blanket. I know that's not his real name, but that's what he was pretty much known as, and his daughter, Paris. Always a child at heart, he even opened up his own amusement park called Neverland. Unfortunately, he tragically died in Los Angeles, California, when he was just 50 years old, not very old at all. And many of his brothers and sisters remain alive and famous today, including his very famous sister, Janet Jackson. So there's a little biography that I kind of wrote to you again. It's not every single fact about Michael Jackson, but just things that I always found kind of interesting about him and that I kind of wanted to share with you guys today. So on the bottom of this video, in addition to the story, is a couple of different of his songs. You can look up any of his songs on YouTube. They're all there. Some of them have music videos, and I always suggest parental discretion with this, which means just make sure it's okay with your parents before you watch the music videos, especially on YouTube, especially if you're going to watch Thriller, because Thriller is a little bit scary. You might not think so, but I think so. So I think it's a little scary. If you guys don't think it's scary, fantastic. And you guys are more than welcome to watch it. I do apologize. My dog is barking in the background. But I kind of want you to at least listen to a couple of his songs. I recommend at least 2, just so you kind of get a sense of his style. So I have a fun activity for you guys to do this week. After you watch the biography and listen to a couple of Michael Jackson songs or watch some of his music videos, I have a word search. And inside the word search are all words that I mentioned in the biography, like tragic, thriller, Prince, Paris, Neverland, Motown, Moonwalk. I made sure that I mentioned every single one of them while I taught you a little bit about Michael Jackson, the King of Pop today. Make sure you send a picture to me at abrosky@schools.nyc.gov by June 22nd so I can give you guys credit, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about Michael Jackson today and enjoy those videos and his songs, all right? Have a great week, guys, and see you next time.